Hello, everybody. Will Byington here, back with another episode of My Three Things. It's my brand new podcast where each week I'm interviewing an athlete, a musician, a rock star, an influencer, an author, really just about anybody I can find that's got something to share. Whether it's what they're watching, what they're listening to, what they're reading, what they're investing in, whatever it is that they want to share that brings a little joy to someone else's life. It's My Three Things, available wherever podcasts are found. You can find it on YouTube. If you're watching there, please hit the subscribe button down below. Also, you can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and really every other platform that podcasts can be found. If there's somewhere you're looking for it and you can't find it, please let me know. Please share the podcast with your friends and those you want to share some joy to. Hashtag My Three Things Podcast. Hashtag My Three Things Podcast. That's it. Let's go. Another week. My Three Things. This week on My Three Things, I'm thrilled to introduce you to one of my good friends who lives right here in Chicago. Even if she is a Florida Gator, she's one of the best authors emerging today. Last year, right at the height of the pandemic, when it was hitting the United States and the world around us, she launched her debut novel, put out worldwide by HarperCollins and William Morrow. The book is You and Me and Us. The author is Alison Hammer, in advance of her second novel coming out in just mere days. Please welcome to My Three Things, Alison Hammer. Alison Hammer, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm excellent.
You too, from just down the street. I could probably look out my window and wave to you.
I know, we should have done this. I could have been out on my balcony. We could be yelling to each other down the block. I thought about we should do it in person, but I'm still learning what I'm even doing with this whole podcast idea.
It is great. I have gotten so many new things that I love from this show, and also just getting to hear you talk to mutual friends. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely, so far it's a good time, and I'm like you. My Netflix queue is packed to the brim now. It's been great what everybody's suggesting. So I can't wait to have you on to hear your three things. But I'm also so glad to have you as a two-time published author. 1 year ago, almost to the day, you released your debut novel, You and Me and Us.
Yes.
And next week, by the time this comes out, it'll be next week. It's next Tuesday, the 13th, Little Pieces of Me, coming out nationwide. Tell us a little bit about the book, and we're also going to talk about the big launch party. People can get tickets and find out all the details at AlisonHammer.com. And we'll give out all those details. But tell us a little bit about the book, first of all.
Absolutely. So the book was inspired by a mutual friend of ours back in 2017. So publishing takes a really long time. My debut novel I wrote in 2016, and it didn't come out until 2020. So this one I wrote in 2017. And one of our mutual friends, Tom, was closing one of his bars. And so a big group of us went out to kind of have one last hurrah there. And I saw our friend, and I said hello. And she said, "You'll never guess what I just found out on Ancestry.com." And I guessed a few political and historical figures she wouldn't want to be related to. And eventually she told me that she had gotten an email from Ancestry.com that with a parent-child match with a man that wasn't her father. And being a storyteller and a novelist and just a story junkie, my first reaction was just there's a story there. And so Little Pieces of Me was inspired by that. It's not her story, it's fictional, but it's about a woman named Paige who finds out through an Ancestry website that her dad, who she had recently lost, was not her biological father. So it's timelines with present day as she's making the discovery, interwoven with back in 1974, as her mom, her dad, and her DNA dad are all students at the University of Kansas. So you kind of are seeing her discovery and what it means for her identity, along with the mystery as it unfolds.
Again, you're an incredible writer. It's going to be fantastic. Little Pieces of Me. And it comes out April 13th, everywhere, nationwide, correct?
Everywhere. Ebook, audiobook, physical book, all the books.
So, and you're having a little party, which we know Alison Hammer likes to party. April 13th, 7 p.m. Central. The coolest thing that I also love that you did, because everybody's been struggling, you've got 3 partner bookstores, Volumes Book Cafe in Chicago, the Oxford Exchange in Tampa, and Warwick's in La Jolla.
La Jolla,
I think it is.
Yeah.
And basically they have an Eventbrite page. You buy a ticket, you buy a copy of the book, and then you get into this virtual event on April 13th, which you've also got New York Times bestselling author Kristen Harnell with you, and a little excellent, fantastic singer-songwriter Stephen Kellogg.
Yeah.
Tell us, what else can they expect from the party on the 13th?
I have some surprises planned that I'm super excited about, but I can't tell you because then it won't be a surprise. But it's going to be really fun. And this is my second virtual book launch, and I learned a lot the first time. Had a lot of technical difficulties, but it ended up being incredible. Stephen Kellogg interviewed me and sang a few songs then, and like you said, I like to throw a party. I love throwing parties. There are several parties that I used to plan, once a year, and I love bringing people and music and, all of my favorite things together. So for the virtual event, I decided not to try and recreate what would have happened in person and trying to take advantage of this virtual world. So Stephen Kellogg is in Connecticut. He'll be the MC of the night, and he'll be singing an unreleased song that I love that goes along with themes of the book. And then Kristen Harnell, who's incredible. She's a Gator, and she's been a friend of mine for years.
Roll Tide. What? Sorry. Had something caught.
Forgot my audience. But she's actually been on the Rock Book before, and so we know each other. We can't figure out if it's from UF or from Sister Hazel stuff. But so she's in Florida, and the fact I'll be in Chicago having this virtual event, and anybody all around the country can participate. Everything is at my website, AlisonHammer.com, and then /launch party. And you can buy a book from any of the 3 partner bookstores. And then it's one event. The night of the event, you'll get an email link to the virtual party.
That is awesome. Well, I will definitely be I'll put it on the screen. I'll include it down below, AlisonHammer.com. Again, the book launch party is Tuesday, April 13th. Little Pieces of Me available nationwide. Can't wait. Congratulations, friend. It's absolutely incredible.
So, and you took my author photo, which is, we're going to have to probably redo them for the next time. But if anybody's looking for any kind of photography, Will's your guy.
You're too kind. You're too kind. Check's in the mail. So let's jump in. We got the whole premise, as you know, my 3 things: what you're watching, listening to, reading, interested in, invested in, whatever it is that is spreading joy in your world that you think might spread joy to someone else's world. That's the whole idea. We've all had a rough year. And I feel like even though we all have stuff we're into, but it's always fun to see what people who are kicking ass and taking names, writing books that are coming out worldwide, what you're digging. So what's number 1 on Alison Hammer's My 3 Things?
So this was really hard for me because, like you said, I'm very busy. I have a full-time job. I pretty much have 2 full-time jobs. During the day, I'm a creative director for an ad agency, and nights and weekends I write. So I'm very behind on everything. And I feel like I find out about everything after everybody else does. So I was probably the last one to see Ted Lasso and Bridgerton, and I still haven't finished Firefly Lane. And I feel like I'm always behind. And so instead of saying something new, I thought I would share something really old that I discovered for the first time. So during quarantine, I spent a few weeks down in Destin, Florida with my family. And my dad has a nightly routine with watching different shows. And I don't know how we stumbled upon it, but we stumbled on a show on Netflix called Life in Pieces. It's a sitcom that was on Fox, I believe, from 2015 to 2019. Have you heard of it?
It kind of rings a bell. It's kind of floating around there, but
so funny. It is
Life in Pieces as opposed to Little Pieces of Me. Just want to make sure. Yeah.
Total coincidence. It's called Life in Pieces.
Okay. And who's in it?
I pulled up the cast because, again, I'm terrible at it. I don't know if it's people that you would know, but it is just who James Brolin is in it. I'm terrible with actors' names. People ask me who I would want to play my characters, and I'm just like, you tell me. But the gist of the story is it's about a family. It's about, grandparents. Oh, it's the woman from, Colin Hanks is in it. And then the woman who was in Parenthood, the movie. But anyway, it's a family. So they're parents, and they have 3 kids, and their 3 kids are adults and have their own families. And it's called Life in Pieces because there's 4 short stories in each episode. So
Oh, wow.
between every commercial break, it's an independent, almost sketch of the family. And so sometimes they tie together in a bigger theme, but sometimes it's just like funny little moments. And it is a great palate cleanser, kind of like end of the night, one last show to watch.
Well, looky here.
Welcome home!
They are back.
Voila!
And they're taking the family comedy to brave new heights.
Why don't you come down here?
It took me 20 minutes to get up here.
Color us happy. Life in Pieces is back.
Yay! We're like the pink ladies, except our jackets are black. We're the black ladies.
This Thursday on CBS.
So it's called Life in Pieces, and it's old but really good.
That's awesome. And so it kind of reminds me, is it more comedy than like, it kind of reminds me of Parenthood. Did you ever watch that show?
I was obsessed with it. And it is more comedy than Parenthood. Parenthood was like a
precursor to
like a dramedy.
I feel like Parenthood was the precursor to This Is Us.
Yes.
Like a little bit, because you almost,
totally.
There was some dust in the air through a lot of episodes. You almost.
Oh, totally. Someone was cutting onions.
Yeah. I wouldn't cry, but I heard that rumor.
There are some moments that are just like, there's sweet moments, but it is like laugh out loud funny. So
all right.
Life in Pieces.
Do you know what streaming platform? What's it on?
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. Yeah. See, that's a fun thing that, it's also funny doing this podcast because I kind of wanted to be like, oh, it's got to be new, because if everybody's already seen it, what fun is that? But one is, I am finding every show. I still haven't watched Schitt's Creek. I haven't started that yet. There's so many other shows like Life in Pieces that, like, if you haven't seen it, it's new to you. So it could have just come out yesterday.
There's so much content out there. And if you like 100%, and I think that, what's new to you, like what's old to me might be new to you.
Yeah. So it's fun. So, all right. Life in Pieces, number 1. What's number 2?
Okay. Number 2. So I'm obsessed with the podcast Smart List that you told me about, that I found out about on the first episode of your podcast.
Oh, so good.
So wanted to share a podcast. I'm into, most of the ones I listen to are like writing related and would not be fun for everybody. But there's another one, and the 5th season is just starting. So it's new-ish. And it's called Family Secrets by Dani Shapiro. Do you know about that one?
I don't.
Okay. See, so that's good.
Yeah.
So Dani Shapiro is an incredible author and memoirist, and she wrote a memoir called Inheritance, which is similar. She found out, she took an Ancestry.com kit and found out that her dad wasn't her dad. Her mom was her mom, but they like used like a sperm donor. It was like back in like I don't want to date her. I don't know. It was, a while ago. And so it's her process talking about her inheritance and meeting her biological father and like identity and all these great things. And I think it was in correlation with that, but she started this podcast, Family Secrets, and every episode she interviews somebody who has a secret. Either they were keeping the secret or they had a secret.
Oh, that's
Sometimes
awesome.
it's great. Sometimes they are like DNA related. Sometimes a person was in jail. Sometimes they were like drug addiction. Like it ranges the spectrum, but it's all about the secrets we keep, the secrets that are kept from us, and the learning and discovery. And some are funny, some are sad.
Every family has its secrets.
They had a compact that they were not going to confront the truth of their situation. And then I came along and threw it down on the floor like a gauntlet.
Secrets that are kept for all kinds of reasons. Because they're a source of shame. Because we don't want to cause others pain. Because of unspoken agreements that it's just better this way. But the ripple effects of holding onto those secrets can last for years, sometimes generations to come. When the truth finally does come out, even if we're older, wiser, even if we think we've moved on, it can send us reeling. I'm Dani Shapiro, host of the hit podcast Family Secrets. Join me for an all-new season of incredible stories that show what happens when long-held secrets come to light, and how even the most painful discoveries have the power to liberate, heal, and even uplift us. Season 5 of Family Secrets premieres Thursday, April 1st. Listen and subscribe on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
It's just a really great look inside at humanity. And I'm personally fascinated with secret culture. And I think that, again, like keeping them or sharing them, or I just think there's a lot of juicy stuff that happens in there.
So how long is each episode?
I believe it's around 30 minutes.
Okay, so perfect, digestible, easy to listen to.
Totally easy to listen to. And she is like a pro. Just her conversations that she, like the production value of it is really great too. So it's called Family Secrets.
Family Secrets by
Danny Shapiro.
Danny Shapiro. Well, what's the biggest secret you've heard her share? What's your favorite episode?
Oh, that's tough. There are so many good ones. I love the I'm a sucker for these DNA ones. I love like the people that found out that they're like just different relatives or they were adopted, or there's different things. I should have thought of one specific one, but they're all great.
That's awesome. No, it's great. It's crazy. And I do love, I definitely have watched a lot of Dateline over the year. Well, always. I've always been a fan. I love hearing the stories of secrets like that. I'm fascinated by that, like you said, too. I'm fascinated by the people who can pull off secrets nowadays.
Yes, right.
Like, you think about back in the, I was born in 78. You think about the 70s where you're watching these things and you're kind of like, okay, I can kind of get it because, you had a landline at home and it was, your world was a much smaller bubble. I'm fascinated when you hear of these secrets that people are keeping nowadays where like they have two families and it's like,
I agree. I don't know how they can pull it off because I really think that with social media and everything, and if people aren't on social media, it's like, why? Like, what are you hiding if you don't want yourself out there?
While I won't lie, there are times though, and social media is my whole world. It's the way I promote my photography. It's the way I learn promote my podcast. Yeah. Every now and then I'm kind of jealous of people who aren't on social media. Like there's part of me that would love to not be on social media. If
you're single and on any of the apps and you're not on like anything, I think that it's like, okay, what are you hiding? True, are you hiding a family or,
100% fact.
But also I think that part of the reason that there are all these discoveries is that DNA used to be something that like police stations and detectives, and it was all about crime. And now you spit in a tube and like you can find out like everything. And I feel for these, there's groups of people that were conceived like through a sperm donor, that like the guys who donated for like however much money like 40 years ago had no idea that there would be a way that like, their children would find them and each other. It's just like science is crazy.
Science is crazy. I guess I never even thought about that either. Too though. That would kind of be a bummer of a story though. If you tracked it down, you found out, and then it's like, oh yeah, he just got $40 for you, kid.
But there are groups of people that have like 40 or 50 siblings.
Yeah. Like, I mean, wasn't that a Vince Vaughn movie also? Wasn't there something? I think there was some Vince Vaughn movie. Well, that's awesome. Can't wait to check that podcast out. What's number 3 on
number 3? I had to do books. So and I can't just pick one. So I was going to do 2, but then I saw another one that I wanted to grab and show too. Back when you could like go in stores, I loved like walking into Anthropology or like just those, like I clearly have a lot of books, but I love weird, funny books. And this book made me laugh. I got it from Volumes Bookstore. And it's called P is for Pterodactyl. And it's the the worst alphabet book ever. And it's like G is for gnat, K is for night. And it's like all these words that are like all these fake these words that like are deceptive. And I just think it's so funny. And maybe that's just my like awesome writer sense of humor, but I think it's hilarious.
That is awesome. Well, we're open to a random page.
Let's see. Story time.
Yeah.
Okay. E is for you. Ooh, how do you say that? I picked a terrible one.
No, that's
D is for Djibouti. The boat race begins when the handsome judge from Djibouti drops his handkerchief from the bridge.
and this is why, even though I use the excuse that I went to Alabama so that I can't spell, but that's also 100% why I can't spell.
Q is for quinoa. We can enjoy quinoa and quiche by the K's of Qatar.
That's awesome.
Oh, I don't know. I just think that it just makes me laugh.
That is fantastic. And what else you got? You said you got a couple more.
I've got two more. So this book is called The Kindest Lie by my friend Nancy Johnson, who's a Chicago author. I threw a virtual birthday party and had a few authors do little readings, and Nancy's one of them. Her book came out in February, and it has been everywhere. Like Oprah, the New York Times has reviewed it. It has been like, if there's a list, it's been on it. But it takes place in Chicago in 2008, right when Obama first won his first election. And it is about race and class, and it's about a woman who her husband, he's ready to start a family, and she's not, because a secret that she's kept is that she had a child when she was a teenager and gave him up for adoption. And so it's about going back to her Indiana town that she grew up in, and race and class, and her writing is just gorgeous, and it's incredible.
Well, it's good. Race and class and all that has changed in the last 13 years. So is it really timely still? I wouldn't
Very
understand.
much so.
I'm joking.
I was going to say, things have not changed very much.
I'm joking. It's all the same. That's awesome. Kindest Lie. Okay.
The next book is called Are We There Yet? By another friend of mine, Kathleen West. I love audiobooks, so I bought a copy for my bookshelf, but I listened to the audiobook. I binged it this weekend. I listened to it in 2 days. It is about parenthood in the age of social media. And we're too old for like Finsta. Do you know what Finsta is?
No. What is that?
So it's all at the rage with the kids. It's a fake Instagram account. So kids have an Instagram account that their parents know about, and then they have a Finsta that their parents don't know about. And so there's all sorts of scandals, and just it's parents trying to navigate social media and parenthood, and
Oh my God.
how your kids, like how a lot of parents tie the success or failures of their kids to how they're doing as a parent, when really it's more about your children. She's been called the American Leanne Moriarty, short chapters, different points of view, and it's just phenomenal.
So it reminds me of, have you watched The Social Dilemma, the documentary on Netflix?
I'm like probably the last person to watch it. It's on my list.
So it's definitely out there, and it definitely sounds like it would be a great intro to that book, even because it's all about how social media is manipulating kids and stuff. Yeah. And I can't even imagine what it taught me, and I don't have kids, but between that and what you're saying about the book and Finsta, right? Maybe I'd be a bigger deal on Instagram if I had a Finsta. Maybe I need to work on this. But that is crazy. All right. So are we there yet? That sounds awesome.
And then the last thing, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so you've got your book coming out. Mm-hmm. Did you have something before that, or?
No, I just wanted to, if it was okay, can I read just a tiny, tiny bit of it?
Well, I was just going to say, why don't you share a little bit of little pieces of me here on My Three Things, because this book will be on everybody's My Three Things shortly. So this just a super, super short section. It's pretty late in the book, as you'll see. And it's Paige, the main character. Is this going to be a spoiler? Don't, I mean, there's no spoiler. This podcast is a big deal, but I don't want to. It's short. But so the character Paige has twin sisters who are 12 years younger than she is. And there's like a joke that, they're the oops, but really she feels like she was the oops because her parents had her when they were in college. And so this is her younger sister's 30th birthday party, where she is at the birthday party. All right. Awesome. So this is Alison Hammer reading Little Pieces of Me right here on My Three Things. Go for it. They're on the dance floor, my character Paige and her fiance Jeff. Jeff grabs my hand and spins me around, and when I land back in his arms, I realize the crowd has parted around us. I look for Annabelle, worried she'll be upset that we're embarrassing her, but she's lost in her own world, with her arms thrown around little Will Byington, who isn't so little anymore. My heart lurches for Franny, who's had a crush on Will since he moved next door when the twins were in third grade and I was getting ready to leave for my junior year in college. Franny doesn't seem to mind, even if she notices. She's dancing, surrounded by a group of girlfriends, a familiar smile on her face. Wow. So, funny story. I'm going to have to give you, and I know you'll have a final copy. I'm going to have to give you an advanced copy
because I changed who your character is. I changed your name right before the book was due. I was like, you know what? This would be a better place for Will's name. So not knowing they were printing this version.
Okay.
So your name is in one place in this book, and then I used it in a different place in the final book. So people will have to read the book to see if they can find your name. But
So what you're saying is, was it Fanny who had the crush on me?
yeah, Franny.
Franny. So what you're saying is Franny and I have already broken up? Like it's already not going to happen?
But when you find the new place, so one of the things I like
Story
doing,
of my life. Story of my life. Apparently that's my Finsta. There you go. Right there. My Finsta is my fake life with Franny. Oh, heartbroken.
one of my things that I like to do is leave little Easter eggs. And when I have to have a name that's like a character that's not like one of the main characters, but I need a name, I try to use friends of mine or things that could be cool to find in a name. And I used in the last book, I used our friend Lionel Chavez. And in the audiobook, they said Lionel, which made me laugh. But, so I had to try and find a spot for your name on this one.
Oh my God. Well, that makes my day. I'm sad about what could have been with Franny. That is fantastic, and I can't wait to. Can't wait to hear more.
You're like, why do you want to read?
No, I love it. I love story time with Alison Hammer. Do you read? You don't get to read the audiobook though, do you?
No. So because I love audiobooks so much, I miss out on some things. Like a lot of books have extras, like behind the scenes, an essay or things like that are in the print and e-copy. And a few authors, whenever they include things, I get so excited. So I did record the essay.
Oh, awesome.
So if you listen to the audiobook, you'll hear me in the beginning saying to stay tuned till the end. And then at the end, I am reading the behind the book essay.
Okay, that works. That's awesome.
But I left the narration to the professionals.
I don't know. You did pretty good right there. I love it. Well, Alison Hammer, can't wait to party with you Tuesday the 13th. Again, details on all the places you can pick up the book. Now, actually, I have to ask, because we talked about this back with You and Me and Us, worldwide, right? I remember you saying that it was being picked up into other languages, I believe. What's happening there?
So You and Me and Us is coming out in Germany in, I believe, October. And so if you search on Amazon, like for my name, the German edition comes up also, which is funny. It's like Du und ich und I don't know. And they changed the cover slightly. They changed what the young daughter looks like, just her hair. And then we got a deal in Lithuania also. But I haven't heard anything about that. So it's going to be in the States, Germany, and Lithuania, and then nothing yet for this, but I'm hopeful. I think that the international market has slowed down a tiny bit with just the state of the world. But
yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's going worldwide. You're going worldwide. Well, Alison Hammer, so great to see you. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being on My Three Things. Alison Hammer, so great to see you. Hopefully everybody will pick up a copy of your debut novel from 2020, You and Me and Us. Also, hopefully they'll sign up at AlisonHammer.com for details and info on Little Pieces of Me and your book launch party coming up. The book's out, available everywhere, April 13th. Again, go to AlisonHammer.com for all the details on the new book, the launch party, and everything else. Please check it out. As always, please share My Three Things Podcast. That's the hashtag. Hashtag My Three Things Podcast. Please share it with your friends. Click subscribe or give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the different platforms you are finding us. We can't do it without you. Thanks so much. Till next week. I'm Will Byington. Peace out.